promotion, but it is tied to his reserves promotion because he juggles both of them, and he juggles one of the top 7 most beautiful families in the world with all of that, right? They won the 2019 national level for the entire country, national level, Dick Schramm Public Relations Award for the air show at Tinker. Now, this air show was the largest air show in the history of Tinker Air Force Base, but on top of that, it was the largest aeronautical event in the history of the state. And with that, John orchestrated the public affairs to win the nation's #1 spot for 2019 with that air show. And his team, you guys just watered the eyes of the world with that. And then in 2020, during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, he was dual-hatted as he had to do the messaging at Langley in Virginia with their COVID and orchestrated that very well. I think some of that might even be in your declaration. Let's hope that it is so they can hear the true story on that. And here at Tinker Air Force Base, where we have a very unique situation at Tinker. We have an industrialized depot workforce where 80% of them have to be at work to do the mission. They can't telework. They can't do zoom.gov and fix a hydraulic leak on an airplane. They have to be at work. We have Air Combat Command's largest wing at Tinker, and it just happens to be a wing where up to 45 people have to fly together in a tube for 4 or 5 hours without masks. And Tinker Air Force Base went full mission capable 3 months into COVID with those situations and led all of Air Force Material Command in cases. We just had to. The only other installation like Tinker in the Air Force where they have a large depot workforce and a large combat flying wing that flies together in a tube is Robbins Air Force Base. And those populations at Robbins combined to less than half of Tinker's population. So we had the highest number of cases in Air Force Material Command, but 84% of the state and local communities. So we were open for business, doing the mission as a leverage point of American air power in the COVID-19 environment, and came in substantially lower in cases than the communities did and the state. A testament to the installation's efforts at mitigating the risks of COVID. But during all of that, messaging was everything. Messaging was 99% of the problem set. And in that messaging, Tinker's 72nd Air Base Wing Public Affairs won Air Force Material Command's best crisis communication program across all of AFMC. And it is almost entirely internally driven by you and your PA team. I don't know that I have the vocabulary to emphasize how big that is, because in the clutch you either run to the gunfire or from the gunfire. And John and his team ran straight into the gunfire to take care of it, so it's appreciated. Let's get the rest of this candle lit, get you promoted.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the decoration order. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the Air Force Meritorious Service Medal, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster, has been awarded to Major Jonathan A. Stock for meritorious service 20 August 2018 to 14 June 2021. Major Jonathan Stock distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States while assigned to the 633rd Air Base Wing. Major Stock performed flawlessly as individual mobilization augmentee to the Chief of Public Affairs, supporting 5 wings, 7 brigades, 60 mission partners, and 2 4-star commands. He led a 30-member staff during a once-in-a-lifetime world pandemic, devised public affairs guidance, rolled out vaccine messaging, and provided vital counsel across the Joint Base. His crew earned 2nd Best Crisis Communication Program in Air Combat Command, a Public Affairs Communication Effectiveness Award, and 20 other team awards. He was hand-selected to train Air Combat Command and Wing Public Affairs offices on the new Air Force level vector communication planning tool, which led to greater visibility of local messages. He paved the way on new office initiatives, including podcast guidance and civic leader program improvements, and identified shortages that led to new public affairs deployment equipment worth $55,000. Finally, Major Stock facilitated communication strategy for the F-22 training mission bed down and led an overhaul of the F-22 demo team public affairs approach. The distinctive accomplishments of Major Stock reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Bring over the medal, please.
Let's get this on film. You're gonna need to keep that going. Let's clap again until it's off.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the promotion order.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Major Jonathan Stock. In view of these special qualities and his demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Major Jonathan Stock is promoted to the permanent grade of Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, effective the 18th day of June, 2021, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Would Major Stock's family please come forward to pin on the new ring?
Father and Jenny, and Melinda's family. We will first, which one do you have? Put that back on the side.
He's been working out.
It's a good team. Now for the second group, real quick. We have Jackie, Adam, and Mom. That makes it easy on you. You got it. All right, we got one more here.
Who would think John's son would be shy? That's right, he gets it from his mom. Just been keeping.
All right. You just present them. Okay. We'll go ahead and do the
Part is turning the seats, so.
my remarks. Okay. All right, so the next part is gifts. And so I wanted to thank Jackie here for the pinning. And so we have these flowers for Jackie and our family. And I know that you have the boys, so I'm fortunate to hold this. So I'll give them back to my property. And, I actually have another gift for everybody else that you can just hold it up. I will give them out. But anyway, so I bought some nice frames for everybody else that pinned me on. You all flew in. And so I'll give you the frames afterwards. But in the frames, we can put some pictures of today's event and stuff that you can hang. But I didn't want the flowers to get crushed in the suitcase. So.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Colonel Stock, you may return to your seat. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Colonel Filchek will now administer the oath of office.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we do the oath, what's fascinating about it on officer promotions is that it is not required. The oath stands the very first time you take the oath, but it's a measure of a recommitment on John's behalf to the United States Air Force and everything we hold dear. So it's kind of become a very long-standing tradition among officers to recommit via the oath each time that we get promoted. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jonathan R. Stock,
Having been appointed a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Lieutenant Colonel Stock.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much, Lieutenant Randall. So this is the part of the ceremony that we've guided you through where I get to say, woo, we made it. Because this has been a crazy couple weeks to get here. And I'm glad we made it here. I'm glad this happened. I mean, it all kind of started putting this together when my sister told me that her original flight was bumped on Southwest due to whatever reason to the day next, and then they kept delaying her more, but she made it in yesterday, so it's great. And then hearing my father and stuff, he was able to make it. He got cleared from his doctor that he could come out here with COVID running rampant. And and not to mention, this was originally supposed to be an outside ceremony in the beautiful Oklahoma 80-degree weather with some like fair winds, not too bad out there on the flight line and stuff. And then it turned out that it was gonna be a smoldering 100 degrees out of nowhere, and Colonel Filchek made the right call when he reminded me I reserved this just in case of an event like this. And we decided to move this inside. And then on top of it, I'm thankful to celebrate this with the Juneteenth holiday. But when they originally said yesterday that the entire base was going to close, and by the way, no one's coming. And I said, "Will you be there, sir?" He said, "Yeah, sure. We can do this." But yeah, so this works out well to bring everybody out here. So thank you very much. And now a couple other things. I first want to thank my uniform for allowing me to squeeze into it again. So as a reservist, I don't get many opportunities to put on a uniform, but it's always a healthy reminder that you know, hey, we made it. Oh, you're here. So, but then I want to get into a couple of the other things. So I want to thank the chaplain, Captain Lister. Thank you for coming out here, sir. I really appreciate you again on this day. But I really appreciate you in vocation. My team of PA personnel supporting me with the Facebook Live going, and my Paul, April, Mark. We have a message in our inbox, by the way, on some communication we can do for the boss, which I already started actually. I already started moving that this morning, so it's well ahead. It's with JA right now, so we're moving ahead on some stuff. But never a dull moment. And yeah, so thank you guys for coming out as well, and Ron as well. Appreciate you being at the door and stuff like that, greeting people. Lieutenant Rangel, and I gotta give him thanks because we started this when I talked to him and I said, I just wanna go out with Colonel Filchek, and this is gonna be like a 2-minute thing, and that's what Colonel Filchek had promised him. And then we got a hold of Lieutenant Rangel, and again, we work in an office with protocol, and then they all started getting in and was like, oh, but you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and your family's coming, so let's do this right. And so, you know, I was glad he was there because he helped make this super special for me, and especially taking on multiple roles. My goodness, the proffer, the narrator, orchestrating this, spending hours in Hill Conference Center and other places. So thank you, Lieutenant Randall. I appreciate you. You know, I'll get to the other part in a second. I want to turn over why I asked for Colonel Filchek to do this in the first place. So, sir, I thank you for doing this, and not just because you're a Steelers fan. Yeah, probably I'm not sure in all the Steelers gear, but I have to say, you definitely upped my game from when you took on as wing commander here, and we as an office are definitely going to miss you. But some of the things, I mean, you know, faster, quicker, smarter, not as many words. I mean, countless. I mean, even the attention to detail. And I noticed, sir, he comes in my office and he finds a speck of dirt on the floor and like tosses it in the trash can and stuff like that. But I mean, it's been wonderful to have you here and to guide us through such a difficult time. And I will tell you from the office, some of the comments you made when we did earn the best crisis communication public affairs office in AFMC, the command, but we did not do it because of just the team. And I know the team countless hours, and I have to tell you that Colonel Filchek, our leader, pretty much, we would not have been in the place we were without him at the helm. So thank you, sir. It was awesome. And I wanted to make sure the office here, just so you know, we did order something from you for you weeks ago for your farewell, and he's gonna be departing here. He actually is doing this a couple days before he's leaving,
Oh, my.
and we did his farewell already, and we ordered a special microphone for you. That you can put on your desk mantle, and it did, of course, the post office, a bit slow. So, but we can tell you it's out there, but I will tell you, and I believe the wording on it goes to something a little like, media prep plan, I'll wing it, you know, so. And so Colonel Filchick was the best because, my staff is so articulate, it's attention to detail for everything. So there is a talking point or a speech written, ready to go, and it's loaded to a teleprompter, and then Colonel Filchick comes in, and he's like, okay, I got the point. That's making me nervous with those words. And he just goes for it, and it's fantastic. But thank you, sir. Really appreciate you coming out here.
Hey, John. Let me clarify that it's not because I'm that good at speaking, it's because the teleprompter just distracts me and blows me way off course. If I get on a teleprompter and try to follow those words, it'll look awful. So I take the second best approach. But, John, you made it too much about me, and I appreciate it very sincerely, but you touched on something, on how meticulous and how dedicated the PA team is, and so thank you for thanking them very much. So on his moment in the sun, he's going to talk about other people. So.
That's right. That's exactly. And to move on to that, the next thing is, so I'll talk about myself here for a quick second. And but it's not really about me. This isn't about me. I wanted to do this and to take the oath and to be here in my blues and in front of you because it really is about everybody else. And so, as a reservist, I'm something called an IMA. And so, it stands for Individual Mobilization Assistant, whatever. So, but IMA, augmentee, and it's a reserve type where, you know, I'm working for an active duty office, and a lot of people, you hear the term, I am alone, right? And so that's kind of where they go with I'm alone as I go through this, and I try to handle this career on the side, and I try to find time to see my other boss on the other side, Colonel Ross, and or whoever it may be at the time of when I'm doing this IMA work, and sometimes they're, you know, they're prepared for me to come, and sometimes they're like, there's a desk over there, and you know, so I hopefully bring in donuts usually that says, bring me work for a donut. And we try to make it happen. This last time during the pandemic, it was true. I was in the middle of working with, as the pandemic was rolling out. And I think I had both bosses at the same time tell me, John, get home. We don't know what's going on. And so I was driving on the communication. I remember talking to Mark on the phone and talking to Colonel Filchick on the phone. He's like, why are you not home yet? We're like, you know, and my boss, Colonel Ross, on the other side, he's like, just get out of Langley a couple days early. We'll figure this out later down the road. You know, thank you for your 2 weeks, but get out of here. And so, but yeah, but I am alone is kind of a term they throw out. But I'm going to tell you, for the next couple groups of people here, which is my office and my family. And so I'll start with my office, which I'm really glad that my home office here is in the room with me, a number of you, because I will tell you that, and even Mr. Burgess, thank you for being here. But when I leave, and I know that some of you might think that I don't actually leave, but when I do leave, I step aside. There are certain steps and roles that, you know, people take on, and it's not easy for my office. I understand it because, you know, it's one less body, you know, one less mind. You know, a lot falls on. Usually it falls on all of you. They come in here when I go out there, and Mark, we try to stay in constant communication when I'm gone and stuff, but it also is, I understand some of the weird burden when I leave, but I never stop appreciating you, as I'm gone. So I wanna thank you all as my team for being my team at home and, waiting for me to get back, and just carrying on the mission, because that's what it's all about. So thank you guys, appreciate it. And then, my next, critical components here is my family. So thank you guys for all making this trip, and I really do love and appreciate you all for flying in from wherever and making this short dedication and spending this with me. There's one person, of course, my family, my brother Mike, his wife Jen, and their 4 boys that could not make it here today because my brother is a commander down at Fort Hood. It sounds close, but you know, as a commander, he has a exercise going on right now where he's working, and so they weren't able to make it. But hopefully, maybe they can catch a glimpse of this on Facebook and check it out. So I do appreciate them. And then the rest of my family: Melinda, Jared, my dad, Jenny, all the kiddos, Madeline, Allison, Jake. And I don't want to forget, there's probably people on Facebook here that may have joined, I don't know, but if you're there, thank you for joining. Some part, you know, you're part of this, probably some family and friends, and so thank you for being part of this. And then there's my wife Jackie. Oh, and I don't want to forget my mom. Thank you for also coming. Always here early, helpful, doing everything you can to help, even helping with the boys right now. And then Jackie, and you know, we do get the calls where we try to figure out when are we going to do this reserve duty. And it's just like, oh, the reserve duty that never stops. And it's really funny because when we were dating and then got married and stuff, we were like, oh, does the military time really take up, you know, that? And I guess now we kind of know that it really is a very time-consuming type of adventure for us, and sometimes it feels like it's more an adventure for me because I leave often, and it's only a phone call away. I do recognize every minute that I'm not there to help you with the chores and the boys, and you're probably saying, well, you don't do that anyway. But yeah, so I love you. I can't appreciate you enough for being there, and it's exactly why, you know, I just really appreciate you being part of this with me for the time we've been together. And then our boys, of course, don't quite get it. And as they're off doing their own thing, and that's great. But us at least protecting them and giving them a loving house. And you know, when I come back, I know it's getting harder, especially with Adam at this point too when I'm gone. And you know, now he's starting to get it. Daddy has to leave, and well, I'll talk to you when you get back, Dad. So, not talking on the phone, but yeah. So anyway, to kind of wrap this all up, I started with saying that I'm alone, but I'll tell you that I really do feel like I'm not alone through this journey, and so I may have been one of the best exciting things I could have done to extend my active duty service into the reserves, and saw this thing through to actually where I really started was a couple hours up north here at Vance Air Force Base, and I decided to choose a new path from piloting for a few months to finding this, which I actually had no idea public affairs was a thing until Major Brennan helped me see it was something, and Nellis really taught me that PA was like the best job in the Air Force, and it really has been. So thank you, Air Force, for making me what I am today. And thank you to my friends, my family, my coworkers, my parents, my kids, and my wife, of course. I love you all, and yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Colonel Stock. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.
Down we dive, starting our plane from under, off and run, evermore. We live and then when we die and then, hey, nothing can stop you as an Air Force.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join Lieutenant Colonel Stock for a short reception following the session. Thank you.